Hey everybody, and happy Saturday to you. I hope that everybody's having a good weekend. We've waited all week for these 2 days to come, and they go by all so fast. But still, it's Saturday. We didn't have to work today, so we just have to make the best of the situation. Well, I just want to thank you and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, Dr. Vivian E. Moore. And you know the procedure. Before we start the show, I always like to give out these URLs. So grab you a pen and a piece of paper. And I'm going to go slow enough today so you can actually write these addresses down. All right, so the first one is to my Spreaker account. And it is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. And also, if you want to reach out to me, like me, follow me on Facebook. That is https://Vivian E. Moore author at facebook.com. All right, and then if you want to follow me on Twitter, that Twitter handle is God's Property 46. And I would love for you to check out my Instagram page. That is https://Instagram.com/God's Property 51. And I would love for you to check out my lovely website as well. It has a lot of information about me. And it talks about my writing career and how I got started and things of that nature. So if that interests you, that address is https://vivianmoore.wix, that's WIXSITE, wixsite.com/author Vivian Moore. And I would love for you to also check out my blogs because they are awesome. I have to tell you that. But anyway, that is Vivian E. Moore .blog site, that's blogsite.com. And if you want to shoot me an email or send me a message, that is author Vivian E. Moore at gmail.com. All right, so now that we have all of that out of the way, let's move to the title of today's show, which is The Sweetest Hangover, and the topic is Confessions of a Bookaholic. You know, when Diana Ross, she sang that song, I Got the Sweetest Hangover, way back when, I didn't understand the full import of what she said. Now I do. That song spoke of love, a deep affection for someone or something. I can certainly identify because I feel the same way when it comes to books. If I don't or can't read, I become cranky and hard to deal with. And nobody likes me when I'm in that state of mind. Like chocolate to premenstrual symptoms and coffee to a caffeine addict, I need books to ease the signs of my addiction. I am 100% cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it comes to my love of books. This is serious business. Am I certifiable? Perhaps just a smidge. Harmless? Most certainly. Yes, folks, I can admit that I am an absolute addict when it comes to books. I go to bed thinking about reading them, and I wake up pretty much the same way. I am not ashamed to admit that I have a real-life obsession for hardcover, softcover, or electronic books. However I'm able to achieve my daily fix, it does not matter. I know that I'm not alone in this compulsion when so many other bookaholics exist. Admittedly or not, I refuse to be an in-the-closet book nerd any longer or hide what I love to do. Don't judge me or book shame me because I have such a wonderful obsession. I'm not perfect, all right? Which makes me human. If you need a technical term for this condition that afflicts me and millions of others, you can simply call us bibliophiles. It means lover of books. Hey, We are what we are and proud of it. Every obsession or addiction has a point of origin, and so I hold my mother responsible for the affliction that affects my life. I blame her because she introduced me to this intoxicating drug when I was very young. At 3 years of age, she gave me my first books and taught me to read them. I will be forever grateful for this magnificent gift. As a teenager, I spent countless hours engrossed in reading. Yes, I did experience other recreational exercises other than reading to improve my quality of life, although playing a game of hide and seek or kickball didn't seem as exciting as reading a great book. Humble beginnings didn't allow me to supplement my habit by buying all the books I wanted, but there is still, where there is a will, there most certainly is a way. The public library became my favorite place to obtain all the reading material I needed to supply my book addiction. There is something about the way books smell that stimulates the senses as chemical substances do for people who are addicted to them. Whenever I walk inside a bookstore or a library, the heady scent of knowledge and new discoveries held within the spinal columns of well-written rows of books, it overwhelms me. I always inhale deeply the intoxicating fragrance that wafts throughout the building, igniting desire and unspeakable inspiration for the brain. I don't know about you, but a world without books is like an existence without air, both very necessary to my daily existence. I can honestly say that I am a hoarder of books, and I'm proud of it. My collection is extensive, and it grows each day. Even if I can't read them all, I will certainly try. It is a personal goal of mine to read as many books as possible, whenever possible. Now, I know that this is not realistic to read every second of the day, but I believe if I could, I would definitely try. I often wonder if there are help groups for people like me, such as Bookaholics Anonymous or other reforming organizations. Oh, wait a minute. There is. They are called book clubs, where we can get together with other sufferers and talk about our love of books to our heart's content. Now, I don't know about you, but I require a daily fix to appease my insatiable appetite for reading, whether it's a few stolen moments on a bus ride to work or an all-day thing instead of working, I suppose. To clarify, I am not sneaking off from my desk, locking myself inside the bathroom, and pretending that I'm doing something else. This is not an admission of guilt, I promise you. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear, because some days I am tempted to just take my iPod and go to the bathroom and listen to a book in peace. No, but I have a better and wonderful solution that allows me to read and work at the same time. Most importantly, it won't get me into trouble. It's called audiobooks. Remember, we discussed them last week on the show. The perfect resolution for an individual who needs and can't go a day without reading. That would be me. Now, I'm positive that I am not alone in this behavior. So, as always, I consulted Google and I found a website. It is www.bustle.com, and they verified that this disease that controls lives is not only real, but confirmed that we are not an anomaly. How about that? Well, anyway, Laura Rutherford Morris, she wrote this wonderful article, 10 signs you're a bibliophile, because so what if you like books more than people? Well, I won't go that far, but I do want to share what she has to say about this issue. And so I listed all 10 things that she had to say. And the first one is you have both a permanent copy and a loaner copy of your favorite books. Check. Number 2, you judge other people according to the books they have. Check, check. This is number 3, you spend way too much time thinking about book organization. Now, that I don't do. My books are not in any type of specific order. I guess if I wanted to put them in order, I do have, I have my, on my iPad, I can put the books in alphabetical order or oldest to newest. I can do that, but for me it really doesn't matter because I always scroll through the list anyway to see what I want to read next. So, but anyway, number 4 is used bookstores fill you with glee. Now, I don't spend a lot of time in used bookstores, and nothing against them at all, but I just got this thing with buying used books because everybody is not gentle with books. They want to crease the pages, dog-ear the pages. You know, I don't like the fat pages in books because they've been overly used. You know, that's one of my pet peeves about paperback books. I think that they should, when you finish reading them, they should pretty much be in pristine order, and you should always use bookmarks to mark the page instead of crimpling pages and marking in books and things like that. I just so hate that. And so that's one of my reasons why I don't go to used bookstores and buy books, because I don't like books that have been abused. I'm sorry. If I buy a paperback book, it has to be new. Because I'm sorry, that's just how I am. So, you know, I make no apologies. This is just me. All right. But anyway, number 5 is, use books as actual home decor. Now, I have to be honest because I have done this before. I use them for like end table kind of things where you take. Well, I had, for instance, I had these 2 cast iron model trucks. And so I used them as bookends, and so I had all of my books in the middle, and they weren't books that I read all the time. They were more or less just coffee table books that were there for anybody who wanted to select one and just look at it or read it or whatever. It was just there for decoration. So yes, I have done that one. All right. So number 6, you plan to use them as centerpieces at your wedding, or you already did that. Well, I'm not married. I don't know of anybody who has done that, and I don't know of anybody who would do that, but I guess if they did do that, then that would be fine if that's their thing. All right, so number 7 is, your ultimate fantasy is to have a library in your house. To me, that's not a fantasy. That is a very doable thing, so that would make it a reality. You don't have to have a room like in a public library or in a bookstore or something like that. You can just carve out a small place, or maybe you can convert a closet that you're not using and maybe put your books in there. But unless you take the door off, people wouldn't be able to see your collection. Or you can just buy bookshelves or bookcases and modify those and add some extra shelves to them and just use that as your library. So, you can do a lot of things with that. But that, to me, is not a fantasy. All right, so number 8, you would love to travel far and wide to look at books and the homes of the people who wrote them. Now, to me, this is very interesting because I would love, especially some of my favorite authors, I would love to visit, where they grew up, their homes, to see where they got some of their ideas. And a lot of the authors that I love, now some are still living, but the majority of them have passed on. But still, that would have been so cool to actually go and do a tour of a famous author's home. Maybe somebody needs to put that on a tour guide. If you go visit a city where you know of some famous authors, that would be something very interesting to put on a tour guide. All right, so number 9, you own multiple copies of the same book. All right, I'm guilty. I do. I have to admit, I do. And it's okay because, like I said, some books you want to actually physically touch, and then some books you want to keep them on the cloud. So it just makes sense to me, if your reading tablet goes down, battery dies for whatever reason. If it's on the cloud, then you can still have access to it. But if it's in a paperback, then of course you have access to it. So, to me, that's a good idea to have more than one copy of a book, especially if it's something that you really, really like. All right, so number 10, you spend crazy amounts of money on rare books. Now, I don't own any rare books, and perhaps I do. Maybe I do have some, but they're not physical books. They're ebooks. But, and they're rare to me because I hold them as a special place in my heart. Not because they're worth millions of dollars, but because they're just special to me. But I do spend quite a bit of money on books. But listen now, most of the books that I buy are either 99 cents. Some may be a little bit higher than that, but I do have a limit as to what I will spend on a single book. Now, I may spend $10 on a lot of books in a day, or maybe a little bit more, but I will not spend that amount on one book. I'm sorry, I'm just not that crazy. I love to read, but if I can get that book in other formats, then I'm going to do that first and foremost before I spend a lot of money. Or if I can read it for free. And Amazon has a way for you to be able to do that. You have to join in order to be able to do that. But to me, that is good, because you're paying for a membership, and it's really cost effective because if you think about it, if you buy books maybe 2 or 3 times a week, it may very well add up to more than a membership. So it's just up to you. And then you can read as many books as you want, as many times a day as you want. So to me, that's a pretty good bargain if you want to go that way. But anyway, this is pretty serious. And I'm guilty on most accounts of this, but not all of them now. And thank God for that. But I guess some people are deeper in this condition than most. And overall, I love books. I really do. And seriously, I hope a cure for this illness is never discovered. Actually, I love to see it spread like decorative vines on a trellis or millions of wildflowers across endless green fields. But too much of anything is never good for you. Unlike other serious mind-altering chemicals, this one is actually great for your health. Instead of destroying brain cells, it actually increases them. Reading is supposed to be fun. It is a gateway to wonderful discoveries. So don't feel ashamed of being different or doing what you love most. Pick up a book, find a quiet corner, and read to your heart's content. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. And we came in at 19 minutes, still under 30 minutes. So that's pretty darn good. And I hope that you got some fun. I just wanted to make today's show fun about reading. But seriously, I am a bookaholic. I love books. I love to read. That's why I do this show, because I love talking about books. One of my coworkers, it's just funny because we share book information, and she's shared some books with me and I've shared some with her, but we talk about books, especially some of our favorite authors and books that we've read, that we've shared with one another. And I love that. I love being able to discuss, especially books that I love. I really like being able to discuss that with other people, to find out, what they thought of the books and the best parts and some of the weak parts. But for the most part, we agree that the stories are absolutely good. And, and I wouldn't pass anything along that wasn't, because, if I read a book and I found it lacking for whatever reason, I would be less likely to recommend that book to anybody else. But sometimes what I like may not be what other people like. They may actually love it, but still, if I feel that the book is great, then I'm definitely going to pass it on to someone else. Now I may mention it just the same and tell them, you may like it, although I didn't, because I don't ever want to discourage people from reading. And, like I said, the tastes vary, they differ. So, it's not for everyone, but still, I would rather someone read a book for themselves to gain their own opinion about it, rather than have me tell them, that's a horrible book and then have them miss out on something wonderful. So that's not what I do. I just want to pass on useful information, great information about books, and, give you tips each Saturday at 6 on Book Chat with Author Vivian E. Moore. I love doing this show, and today, I gave myself a pat on the back, a mental pat on the back, because I actually was on time today, and I'm still apologizing for last weekend. It was Easter weekend. That's not an excuse. I was out longer than what I should have been, but I tried my best to get back home to be able to do the show at 6 o'clock. I just didn't make it. I came in right under the line, just a little bit past it, but still, all in all, I hope that I still gave a great show, that I gave you some useful information that you can pass on to other people, and please do. That is the sole purpose as to why I do this show, because I want to, pass this good news along, because it is good news. It's wonderful news to be able to talk about books, to talk about being an author, to talk about anything that has to do with books, publishing, being an author, because I want to be a useful tool. I want to be a helper to anyone who needs a boost, to just get them, enthused about what they do, because writing is not always easy, and because it's a very competitive business. And you have so many authors that are already established, and then you have so many budding new authors, that are just now getting out there on the scene. And so it can be a bit overwhelming, and especially if you read all of the things that's dealing with authors and writing and the tips, that people give. They try to, give you the high points and the low points of being a writer, and all the things that fall right there in the middle. But and I don't think that they're doing it to discourage. I think they're doing it to educate you, so you can be fully aware of what you're going to be up against. Like I said, there are a ton of writers, but only the very best writers are the ones that get noticed. So you want to put forth your best effort in everything you do. And just don't half step. If you're if you're passionate about your writing, like I am, I'm probably more passionate about writing than I am reading, but still, the passion is there. I take what I do very seriously, and so that's another reason why I do this show on a weekly basis, why I'm dedicated to it, because it means a lot to me for these few minutes that I'm able to speak to you on the airwaves. To just bring a little enlightenment to your day. But anyway, I don't want to hold you too much longer because we're getting down here to the last few minutes of the show. But what I do want to say is tomorrow's worship day. I always say this. I have to say this. So go to church. Go visit a church with someone. Take a friend. Take a family member to church with you. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're not only supposed to be hearers of the word, but also doers. And so that's what we're supposed to do as Christians, to tell everybody the good news. But again, I hope that you're having a good weekend. I know it's getting ready to storm here. I heard the thunder in the distance. Hopefully they won't be too severe. So, but if they are, you know what to do. I just want to say that once I finish with this show, I will upload today's script to my blog site, and I would love if you would check that out. Go out there and read some of the other blogs that are already out there, and just enjoy. But anyway, I love you. I hope you love me back. God bless you, and goodbye.